handle the truth.
Another interview here for part 3 of episode 3 of the Truth Podcast for our Women's Appreciation Day episodes. Women's Universal Basketball League Rookie of the Year and a right-hand woman to my co-host Jermaine Barnes in the development of the WUBA, Faatimah Amin-Ra, joins me. Faatimah is more than just a pro player. She's a businesswoman and a woman who's already done and is on pace to do big things in basketball. The Truth Podcast is sponsored by Gatorade Santiago and La Liga Works, which can be seen on 7:30 The Game, ESPN CLT Podcenter, YouTube, Spotify, or anywhere where you get your podcasts. Part 1 of Women's Appreciation Day included the great and Hall of Famer Cynthia Cooper. Part 2 included Chastity Melvin, a former WNBA All-Star. And now, here with me, Faatimah Amin-Ra. Welcome to Part 3 of Women's Appreciation Day on the Truth Podcast.
Thank you for having me, Mikey. I'm really excited.
No problem. And let's start it off by talking about the WUBA, Jermaine's Professional Basketball League. I mentioned some in the intro, but give the audience some insight on how you got there, your basketball journey, and your overall thoughts on my guy, Jermaine Barnes.
Jermaine is a very interesting guy. He's a great guy, but he's different. And I definitely value that about him, as well as the business relationship that we had. But to bring it back to the WBA, a lot of us overseas professionals, our season got cut short due to COVID, and that resulted in the seasons ending early. So I came home around the time of April. JB and I, we have our monthly check-ins because he's like older brother, like one of my mentors I go to for business advice and just, moving forward with my basketball career. So he, wanted to talk business. Probably within like the first 5 minutes of him like talking to me about him wanting to, start up the WBA again, I automatically got on board because I saw the vision and I saw how successful he was with the organization when he started it back in 2010 and 2016. So, I automatically piggybacked off of that. I was just like, okay, I think it would be incredibly beneficial for, us to expand and have a league out here in California. And I can definitely, run everything and do everything. Let me give you a little bit of backstory. JB and I, we met during like the beginning of my career. And throughout then, like we've developed a very like awesome relationship to where I can always go to him for business advice and he'll always keep it, 100% honest with me because he has my best interest at heart. So throughout the years, with me working for him for his international events, we've built up this level of trust. And fast forwarding to this, he was able to trust me with a project as big as this one. After we got off the phone, I got to it. I started, brainstorming what could work, what could possibly not work, what I wanted to do differently, as opposed to the other leagues that I've been in, because I've seen why they weren't successful. And I didn't want that for this league. I wanted, maximized opportunity for everyone in this organization, especially with it being its inaugural season out here in California. So I got right to work. I reached out to, some coaches in the Bay Area that I've trusted throughout the years to help me with my own development, as well as the development of other players in the area. I linked with my guy, Xavier, and, he's one of the top sports performance coaches out here in California. So, I got him on board with, the WBA. So moving forward, I'm putting all these pieces together. I think what, makes this the best minor league in the USA is the fact that we're actually providing real opportunity. Like we have real players that love the game, that want to go after it and want to create longevity within their careers in this league. And, by them, sacrificing their time and putting their all into this, we're able to provide them with, games, game film, stats, articles that go up on Eurobasket. So it helps to, further track their accomplishments throughout the season and help them to, add more things to their resume. I did my best this season. I created live streaming opportunities so that our fans, in case, they weren't able to attend the games, they were still able to catch the action. I had COVID testing for everyone that stepped foot in the gym, just so that I can create that, safe and family-friendly environment. I had a video crew come in, to pretty much put together, nice highlights and catch some of the top plays of the weekend, so that I can, continuously put out weekly recaps for what we're doing. I think it's incredibly important in terms of marketing something. Like, in order for it to grab the attention of others and for others to believe in what you are doing, you need to show them something that holds value. And I think this definitely holds value because, I had girls come out of retirement. I reached out to my really good friend, Alexis Gray Lawson. She came out of retirement. She has WNBA experience, and she wanted to play in this league just because she saw the vision. I reached out to other pros that have played overseas. They immediately hopped on board because, yet again, there hasn't been anything of this caliber like this in California. And then I reached out to some of the college players that have just finished university or college, looking to, pursue an overseas career, get more experience, so that when they are ready to, start looking for job opportunities, they're well equipped and they're ready to go. But honestly, I don't think I could have done it without JB, with him, coaching me through different situations throughout the years, and, just seeing how I responded. Obviously, life, you're always going to get hit with certain things, and it really just depends on how you respond. And this then, will push you forward or move you back. And I have had to build up a tough exterior, because obviously, like, I have to be on my A game all the time to make sure that things are progressing. And the only way things are progressing is if I'm on my job. And at the end of the day, I want to leave a legacy. I want to do something positive for my community, so that the next generation, whoever's watching, they can see that, she did it. The sky's the limit. I can go out and do that too. I just have to have that mindset. I have to have that business mindset. I have to always want better for myself. I have to believe that I am worth an opportunity. So, yeah.
And what does it mean to you to be a player in the league, and then with Jermaine, almost like, an asset in the business department of it? How does that, being a player, business side of it, all of that coming together for the greater good of a league?
I mean, I met JB about 5 years ago, and this is when I was first starting out. I didn't really have any offers coming out of university. I hardly played, and I really needed to figure out a way to get an opportunity to play overseas. And I had to switch gears. I had to change a lot about myself. I had to be in the gym. I had to really become a student of the game, especially if I wanted to have an opportunity to create some sort of longevity within, my basketball career. So, year by year, JB and I built this relationship, and, he would give me little projects here and there, and then we would build up, this level of trust. And honestly, when you're at this level, that, you have a certain amount of years left to play. So you want to create something after you play. It's like building the legacy that, him and Coop talked about. But I mean, personally, I've always thought of myself as a businesswoman. With him, taking me under his wing and just, passing down the knowledge that he's had throughout the years. He's played overseas for 12 years.
And
he's
everywhere.
done a lot. Yeah, he's played everywhere.
Yep. He's been in every market, every country, so he has that knowledge and the experience and the business experience too, not just the playing.
Definitely. So, he told me things to look out for, mainly the psychology of the business, how I have to be mentally strong, because obviously things are going to be thrown at me, and, I have to be able to respond, and I need to be able to progress and move forward. And I think as a woman, as a businesswoman, trying to create something for their community, I think this is incredibly beneficial, because it gives, people that, are the next generation, someone to look up to, and, someone to kind of, model themselves after. You don't just have to be a basketball player. Basketball isn't it. That isn't your only identity. There's, you can be multidimensional. So that's pretty much the biggest lesson I've learned from JB.
Yeah. And JB was telling me that you have a great relationship with the Golden State Warriors and Stephen Curry. Tell me about that and how you plan to use that relationship in the future and kind of how you got that all started.
Um, it's not a funny story. It's actually, it's a different story. So I first got introduced to the Golden State Warriors during middle school. It was the first year my family and I had actually been living in a homeless shelter over in Oakland. And, it was the Christmas time. Obviously, with, lack of funds, there's not really much you could do. It's just you and your family. So the Warriors program, they reached out to the homeless shelter that I was living at. And, they decided to take 20 kids and have them come to their winter camp. So from that winter camp, it was something that I needed at that time in my life, just because I felt like a normal kid for once. No one knew where I was. No one knew my background. All they knew that was that I was ready to hoop. I loved to hoop. And the coach that was actually my coach during that week, moving forward, fast forwarding 12 years, I meet him when I go back to the practice facility, and I have other friends that are interested in finding other coaches looking for job opportunities within the organization. So I go into the office, I see the guy that's running everything, Jeff Adiego, and I see my old coach, and from there, they give me a job for a week. They see how I respond to the kids, how I'm able to interact with them and just teach them, and how coachable they are in response to me. And then from there, I start working the next summer. I'm working every single camp that summer. And then the next summer, I'm able to start working camps for, their players. So I've done camps for Draymond Green. I've done camps for Sean Livingston, Zaza Pachulia, Matt Barnes. He had his own camp I got put on from a friend to go and do that for about 2 years. And then Steph had this amazing idea to put together an all girls camp, because at the regular camps the girls are outnumbered because it's a very male dominant camp. So he put together an all girls camp. All the top girls in the Bay Area came through. He also had, a women's panel come and speak to these ladies, not only from basketball background, but also from a business background. We also had Nancy from the Big Three come through. Coach Jen, who's actually, I believe she's the first woman to play professional football. And then we had some other women who were in the financial department, the head of financial department over at the Chase, or head of marketing for Chase Bank. So, I know the campers took, full opportunity, but I also took the opportunity to ask questions and to just pick their brain, because I find it very beneficial to find information on, how to get to their level of success. There's a model there. You want to ask them, what they had to do in order to get to where they were, get to where they are. And, I also had some opportunities, speak with Steph, and the last camp that he had before COVID, I was actually able to demonstrate with him, talk to him and Damien after the camp was done, and just ask them, what they're looking forward to for the upcoming season and stuff like that. So the Warriors this year, they were very helpful. They donated some necessary materials for us to, get started with the season, because we didn't really have that much. And then towards the end, they started seeing, what I had put together, and, week by week I would have, one person associated with the Warriors organization come through, or, 2 or 3. And, I know they would start talking about it. And so by the time I went back and spoke with Jeff and, asked him if there was something that he could do to help us out, I know that, before California went into a, statewide lockdown, they were going to have us use their practice facility so that we can, use their 360 shoot equipment, which is really awesome. Wow. But moving forward, I know that next season, once hopefully this is under control, we'll be able to move forward with them and kind of build more of a relationship with them, because I would really love to start some sort of a mentorship, because just JB's done for me and Coop's done for the women's game. I would like that to give that back to the next generation. I know there's a bunch of other women within the league that would like to do the same.
Of course, the other night, Steph Curry puts up 62 points. He's the talk of the town again, back in MVP form. He seems like he's one of the coolest guys out there, as does the rest of the Warriors. Tell me some of your, you mentioned you meeting and playing with Steph in the practice, your camp.
Yeah.
Tell me about conversations with him and some other guys as well.
I mean, the Warriors organization in general, they're just very humble guys. Like, I know the person that I was able to connect with or talk with a lot when he was playing for them was Sean Livingston. And, he's just talking to me like I'm a regular person. He's talking to me about his newborn daughter. And then, just his role in playing on the team. And I got to ask him about, how his major injury, affected him and what he had to do in order to, bounce back. And then, I've gotten to speak with Steph here and there about certain stuff, but he's honestly just a stand-up guy. Like, what you see on camera, this is how he is. He's very playful, very welcoming. Like, he won't know you, but if you're on the court and you want to get better or you want to get some shots up, he'll probably be like, yeah, come shoot. Like, he's super chill. And one of my friends actually has the privilege of training him. It's one of his trainers. So it's just being able to hear other people's relationship with Steph, and it matches with the experiences that I've had with him. In my book, he's a stand-up guy. Amazing shooter. But yeah, that's that. What he did the other night was phenomenal. And I'm happy he was able to, silence the doubters. Regardless, shooters are going to shoot. Even if he didn't start the season off strong, he's got a killer mentality. He's going to keep doing what Steph does.
Yep. And a couple weeks ago, to hop into your basketball career, you were named the 2020 Rookie of the Year of the WUBA, 16 points per game, 6 assists per game. How did it feel to get that award, and for your play to be recognized so early in your career over there?
To be honest, it's been amazing. I know, JB and Coop, they talked about taking the long road to get to the level of success that, they've had now. And I've kind of had to take the long road. Like I told you before, college wasn't the best. I really needed to change some things about myself and my game in order for for me to have these opportunities. And, coming into the league, outside of doing the behind the scenes stuff, I was tired. I was tired most of the time, but I still had to come out there and perform because that's, pretty much what they care about when you're playing basketball. You need to be able to get it done. Winning should be the only thing on your mind. Being able to help your teammates, just, all working together to accomplish that one main goal at the end of the day. So I'm very honored to receive that award. I'm very thankful for my teammates and for them trusting me and, for all of us just getting together and just working as hard as possible this season.
This, of course, part 3 of episode 3. I saw you were mentioning Cynthia Cooper and the other interview with Chastity Melvin. Talk about those women and some other women who inspired you, whether WNBA players, your mother, or other people in basketball along the way.
Watching those interviews, it was very inspirational. It's just a fire being relit inside of you because of the fact that everything that you're doing now, it's been done somewhere. So if you're replicating their same, blueprint in order for, for them to be successful, you're on the right path, you're doing the right things. Some other women that have, inspired me, Ruthie Bolton, I've gotten to speak with her a bunch of times. She's been a phenomenal person. I know, listening to her story, listening to her trials and tribulations and, what she's had to go through to get to where she is, it's just an amazing story. And I like hearing stories like that because it pushes me to go that much harder, to just continue to win. My mom does inspire me as well. I know that, I'm originally from Canada and moving to California, it was a very big culture shock. I went from, knowing a good amount of people to knowing no one and having to start over. And obviously that experience that I had in the shelter, just continuously working to get out of that and not be a product of my environment so that I can show people that, like, no matter where you're from, no matter what circumstances you may be hit with, you always have a choice to respond and, get yourself back on a positive track. So I've had some other women within my lifetime that have, held me accountable and helped me to just see myself in a different light. And from there, it's helped me to move forward and continue to be a better person. Yeah.
And that beginning in Canada, I know in Canada, hockey is very big there. Basketball, I feel like it's growing. I mean, I'm sure you could tell me more because the Toronto Raptors winning the title and all that. But in the future, would you like to put more emphasis on basketball in Canada and maybe run camps up there or something like that in your hometown?
Yeah. So, after the success I had this year over in the Bay Area, I'm really working to push the league and expand it to the SoCal area as well as expand it to the Toronto area because, while I finished my undergrad over there and, now, especially with me going back before, the WBA season started, there's not a lot of opportunities out there for women's basketball, especially at, this level. Like the WBA is the best, minor league here in the USA. And we want to be able to give those same women the opportunity out in Toronto or even in, other parts of Canada, the opportunity to just be successful and to, create some sort of longevity within their career because like it's hard if you aren't, U Sports, top 10 players or whatever, like it's hard for you to, get picked up to play overseas. And I know a lot of them have those dreams and I know a lot of them can play because I've played against them. So yeah, for the 2021 season, I'm working with my business partner right now, and we're going to be, making that happen for the women out there in Toronto.
Amazing stuff. And Faatimah, to end it, what do you want your future to hold with the game of basketball? And as you're talking about post-basketball, what do you want to see in your post-basketball career?
Just creating or just continuing to build on this legacy. Like obviously it means a lot to me that JB's given me this opportunity to make something of myself as well as build something for my community. So I just want to take that as far as possible and, create mentorships. I think it's very important to reach out to this younger generation just because like I wouldn't say they're a bit lost, but their priorities, they're in a different place than, my priorities were when I was playing or the generation before me. So just continuing that love for basketball and, that's about it.
And that'll do it, folks, for part 3 of episode 3 of Women's Appreciation Day for the Truth Podcast. Shout out to Cynthia Cooper and Chastity Melvin. And of course, here now, Faatimah Amin-Ra for joining us and dropping the truth again for part 3. Thanks again for coming on.
All right. Thanks, Mikey.